Hello, and thank you for watching part 5 of my Build a Chat app with Socket.io and jQuery series. Um, so, in this one, we're going to finish the jQuery event handler we started. Then we're going to, as soon as I'm happy with our branch, we're going to push it to master, and then we are going to make a GitHub repo. That is where I'm going to end this video today. And I'm pretty much sure I'm not going to be able to do this in 10 minutes because I can't do anything in 10 minutes. But I'm going to try. So where were we? Let's look at this. If I hit Command Option I bring up this with my console. We were 1, 2, 3. So that was working good. We got to get rid of that border. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Q, W. So we're pushing those things off the top, which is where I want to go, but if I want to scroll back up to them, I can't. So I want to make this scrollable. And that's something you do in CSS with the overflow. So just to make what element are we looking at? We're looking at the messages wrapper. So let's go to our code. Main CSS, messages wrapper, overflow, auto, and that wasn't very hard. Okay, now let's try this again. Okay, so now if I want to go back up, I can use this, or I'm just on my mouse right now, just on my mouse pad on my Mac, just pulling back and forth. So that works good. That was pretty easy. Dang it, I hate when I forget what other thing I was going to do. I was going to get rid of those borders, and that was in the app.js. Right there. And was I going to? Oh, I was going to turn this into a function. So let's say a function. This is we don't write the word function anymore. So I'm going to call this post send message. What I want that to mean is I am posting the send message versus the received message. I'm going to call it the sent because post send is 2 verbs in a row, but post sent message, that makes this sent sound like an adjective. And my function is pretty much going to be this. Am I starting in the right spot? This. Command X, Command V. And then this would just call that message. Command C, Command V. Got to do a tab. So what are we doing? We're looking at this event, and if on the up click, if they're checking to see if it's a 13, so I could send the event into this. And, okay, and this is actually why some people hate not using a framework. This is outside of that. So whatever is sent into here, like the event, should that be sent into here? It doesn't really need to. It's kind of a global thing on the window. I don't know where but this thing can evaluate these elements all by themselves. I don't need to pass those down. I could probably, this is going to work without me sending the event. I mean, if I wanted to do this, event, or I could just call it E and then put an, or no, I have to call it E and then put an E here. I would have to call it event here. Evenet, that wouldn't work. Well, fine, I'll just go ahead and do it. Command C. If I'm calling this E here, I got to call it E here. Okay, so I'm going to pass the event into here, and then we're inside of here, it's going to evaluate the event. And this is the way I think I'd be killed at my job if I didn't make it so obvious what was going on there. And if I was allowed to do it any other way, they would say there's something wrong with your software that's letting you do that. Let's see what happens when. So what are we expecting to happen? We want it to happen work just as well as it was, but I'm going to put it in console because if there's an error, it's going to show there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing. The whole thing worked. It worked, no problem. If I just put this back to saying event, dang it, ENT, and I don't pass this in, and I don't pass this down, so now they're talking about the same events, and somehow this knows about this, and I didn't have to pass any values down, anything at all. Is this still going to work? Refresh. Yeah, it's still working just fine. So I'm over it. I'm going to let that. I'm just going to leave it just like that. So notice this document ready. This is outside of the document ready. So you think, oh, you don't, but this doesn't run until it's called. And this is called from within the document ready. So we're probably going to have some other things out here. In fact, I know we will, because we're going to have, I'm not going to make a bunch of app files. I could make different ones, but all of our jQuery, I think I'm just going to have in one file, including what talks to the server, and to the socket server. If it gets confusing, I'll break it up. So that's that. I really thought there'd be a little more to it. Let message equal that. New message val. That's what we want. One more thing. We are going to be putting an image in here as well, because if you're Thor, you want your Thor image to be there along with you. But we're not doing that on this video. On this one. Are we ready for the GitHub thing? I do believe we are. All we have to do is we're going to say git add. I'm going to say git status. Git status is optional. I'm just saying, okay, it says I changed something here and I changed something here. And did I not change anything to HTML? I guess not. All right, git commit -m. What's my message? Finished the message submit feature. And maybe it's not finished. Maybe we come back to it. But if we come back to it, it probably will be on a new branch. Like if I want to add a submit button as well as having an enter, I can do that. And it would use a lot of the same code. I'm going to hit enter. 2 files changed. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my master branch. Git checkout master. Git, okay, and then just to prove that we don't have what we used to have, I'm going to refresh this. Now when I do this, nothing happens because the master branch doesn't have the event handler. So git merge, and you think, oh, I don't have to press. I'm just going to hit tab, and it's going to know what I want to do. Git merge. Okay, now it already did it. I don't even have to commit it. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to. Okay, the master branch has everything we need. All right, so that's good. Let's go to github.com. I have my own GitHub account. You are going to watch me go to my GitHub account. I could probably just use my little shortcut here. And I have the slowest internet in the world. I have 109 repositories. Yeah, I'll get distracted. I'm going to add a repository, a new repository. I could import a repository. I'm not going to do it that way. So sometimes the repository starts here and then you bring it to your local machine, but sometimes it starts at your local machine and you bring it up here, which is the case with us. So we're in the cloud now. This is our remote repository, and we're going to call it chatvatars. No, not chat. Chatvatars. Tars. Description. This is an inspiring. Did I spell inspiring? Chat app. And honestly, what you put here, maybe you shouldn't be too silly, because potential employers will come and look at this. I'm already employed, and it is inspiring, so I'm just going to leave it. Do I make this public or private? I want to make it public so you guys can some see it, and initialize this repository with the README. That's a good idea if I'm starting it here, but since I am starting it down there, it already has a README. So I don't want to confuse it, and because I'm going to confuse it, it's no one's headache but mine. So I'm not going to start with this README. Create repository. Creating repository. And now it gives us some code. First of all, see this HTTP and SSH? This is, if I want to use SSH to copy this, it's this. If I want to use HTTP, it's this. I'm going to use SSH, but you need a key for this, and there's a way to set it up. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I'd have to Google it. But this one there isn't. So this one you're going to not have a problem with. This one you're going to. I guess it's more secure is the thing. So I want to create a new. Nope. I want to push an existing repository from the command line. So what it's telling me to do is it's telling me I want to create a remote. So this says git remote add, which means add a remote origin. So this is going to become the origin. I'm setting origin to this repository up here in GitHub. That's what all that's saying. I don't have this memorized. I always get the add and remote wrong, backwards. Git add remote origin. Use origin a few other times. I messed this up. I understand what it's doing though, and I know that I can find the right words right here. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to hit Command V, and I really hope this works. It didn't give me an error. Now I've linked it to it, but the cloud doesn't know what my stuff is. So I'm going to push it up there. You push and you can pull. Like you can pull the latest changes, or you can pull the changes from the cloud or push your changes to the cloud. And this -u is, it means for upstream. I'm pushing it upstream to origin master. Usually you don't have to put this U in there. Okay, it looks like nothing happened, but if we go up here in the cloud to my repo, it would be awesome if it showed I have some files. Sure would be awesome. Sure would be awesome. Or import code from another repository. I think, here we go. Worked on coding a sent message. I was supposed to say posting, wasn't it? So these are my commit messages that I emit. This one was 5 minutes ago. This one was 6 hours ago. This one was 5 minutes ago. These are those two changes I just made. So I'm up here. I'm on the cloud now. This is not on my local machine. And if I look at the app.js, that's this pink and the green is what the pink is saying from your last time you cut this out, and the green is saying you added this. So it's just showing me all my changes. So anyone can come to this Mike Dowd 300 / chatvatars, and let me go back a screen. And did I hit that button? I feel like I did. Okay. If you want to clone this, you hit this, or you can say use HTTPS. This is SSH. HTTPS is going to start with this. So if you can't get your SSH to work and you can't figure out what the key I'm talking about is, then just switch to this. And you click that and you copy it. And then I'm going to, not here, here. I'm going to back out of this thing, cd dot 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 make directory example. Okay, exemple, XMPLE. It doesn't matter. I'm going to delete it in a second. Okay, I'm going to change directories into this exm. Okay, and I'm going to say git clone. And I'm going to hit Command V because remember I copied that, and it's cloning into this directory everything from up in the cloud. So if I look at it now, I have a directory called chatvatars, so I changed into that, and if I look at that, and that is, I have, oh, if I open it, it's going to look like this. All these files are here, but they were copied from the cloud to here. So I am going to, I use a PC at work, and sometimes I get my commands mixed up. rm-rf-exm tab. This is how you remove a folder versus a file. So now if I try changing back into that, it just doesn't exist. If I do ls, A, B, C, D, E, just not there. It's gone. I don't see it. I'm really looking like as if I'm going to see it. It's not in there anymore. Okay, so I didn't hit start on my timer, so I don't know how long I've been doing this, but this is actually shorter than I thought it would be. One last thing. I added our new sticker. We have GitHub here. We got a little better at Git 2, some more Git commands. We've earned this now. Maybe not full bore, but we've earned it. Okay, I'm going to end this somewhere up here, and I will see you in the next one, in episode 6. Thank you very much.